A beautiful weekend to all our viewers. Another plane has landed. Another group of Nigerians has returned home. Another chapter has added to one of Africa's most disturbing stories. But the real question is not how many people arrived Lagos safely. The real question is this: why are thousands of Africans feeling compelled to flee another African country in the first place? What does it say about the state of African unity when citizens of one African nation believe their safest option is to abandon their homes, businesses, and livelihoods to escape growing hostility? On Friday, another batch of Nigerian nationals evacuated from South Africa, arriving safely at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos. According to the Nigerian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Bianca Odumegu Ojukwu, the Air Peace charter flight carried 268 returnees, together with 2 officials and crew members, from Johannesburg back to Nigeria. The evacuation was funded by the federal government following President Bola Tinubu's directive that Nigerians wishing to return home should continue to receive assistance despite the expiration dates of June 30th deadline previously announced by anti-migrants group in South Africa. But let us pause for a moment and ask the question that many Africans are asking today. Why should any African government have to organize emergency evacuation flights for its own citizens because of hostility in another African country? Is this really the vision that inspired the African Union? Is this the future promised by decades of Pan-African solidarity, regional integration, and the dream of an Africa without barriers? According to the Nigerian government, the latest evacuation follows 3 earlier flights that had already brought nearly 600 Nigerians home before the June 30th deadline. Now another 268 have returned home, and officials said the evacuation programs remain open for Nigerian citizens who voluntarily register and complete the necessary screening process. That means the story is not over. The departures are continuing. If people are still leaving voluntarily, does that suggest confidence in their safety has already been broken? President Tinubu has reportedly instructed that the evacuation exercise should continue until every Nigerian who wishes to leave is given the opportunity to do so. The Foreign Affairs Ministry has described the protection of Nigerians abroad as the key responsibility of government and a central pillar of the administration foreign policy.
Criminal actions are perpetuated on our citizens. The police refuse to do anything. The South African government has not come out strongly, firmly enough to condemn these. People who are doing legitimate business have their shops looted. They have their shops set on fire.
That commitment deserves recognition. Every government has a duty to protect its citizens wherever they may be. But another uncomfortable question remains: would this evacuation flight have been necessary if the security situation had not deteriorated so dramatically in the first place? The events unfolding in South Africa have once again exposed one of the continent's deepest contradictions. Africa speaks proudly about unity. Leaders regularly promote continental cooperation, economic integration, and free movement of people. Yet, whenever economic hardship intensifies, migrants often become the first targets of public anger. If Africans cannot safely live and work in other African countries, what becomes the dream of African unity? Supporters of the anti-migrant protests argue that they are responding to rising unemployment, crime, and pressure on public services. Many believe foreign nationals have contributed to those challenges. Others insist their campaign should focus only on undocumented migrants. However, numerous reports and public statements by protest organizers suggest that the movement has expanded far beyond concern about illegal immigration, with some openly calling for foreign Africans to leave South Africa altogether. If lawful migrants who obey the law, pay taxes, and contribute to the economy are no longer welcome, where does the distinction between illegal immigration and xenophobia begin to disappear? The human cost of this crisis cannot be measured only by the number of evacuation flights. Behind every passenger on that aircraft is a personal story. Some have left businesses built over many years. Others have abandoned homes, jobs, and friendships. Parents had to uproot children from schools. Entrepreneurs have watched investment disappear overnight. Can anyone truly describe a voluntary evacuation as voluntary when the alternative is living in fear? The Nigerian government has also indicated that it intends to engage South African authorities regarding compensation for businesses and properties reportedly abandoned by affected Nigerians. That raises another important question. Who should bear responsibility when innocent people lose everything because of violence and intimidation? Should government compensate victims? Should perpetrators be held financially accountable? Or should communities themselves play a greater role in preventing these attacks before they happen? This crisis is no longer affecting Nigeria alone. Citizens from Ghana, Zimbabwe, Malawi, Mozambique, and several other African countries have also begun returning home under similar voluntary repatriation programs. That tells us something significant. This is not simply a bilateral issue between Nigeria and South Africa. It is becoming a continental challenge with implications for regional diplomacy, labor mobility, and Africa's economic future. South Africa remains one of Africa's largest economies and a country built on constitutional values that reject discrimination and protect human dignity. Millions across continents continue to admire its democratic journey following the end of apartheid. That history alone makes today's event more painful. How did a nation that once depended on solidarity from fellow Africans reach a point where fellow Africans now feel compelled to flee for their safety? It is a question that deserves honest reflection, not only in South Africa, but across the continent. Governments also face difficult choices. They must enforce immigration laws fairly and firmly where necessary. Every sovereign nation has that right, but enforcing immigration laws is fundamentally different from allowing fear, intimidation, or violence to shape public policy. The rule of law cannot survive if mob again deciding who belongs and who does not. Democracy functions through institution and not intimidation. The arrival of another evacuation flight should therefore not be viewed simply as a logistical success. Yes, bringing citizens home safely is important, but every evacuation also represents something else, a reminder that Africa still struggles to protect one of its greatest aspirations, the ability of Africans to live, work, and prosper across their own continent without fear of violence because of their nationality. For now, another 268 Nigerians are safely back home. Their journey has ended, but the larger crisis has not. An evacuation flight continues. African leaders face an urgent challenge that goes beyond immigration. Can they restore confidence that Africa truly belongs to Africans? Or will more planes continue to carry frightened families back across the continent? What do you think? Is the wave of evacuation evidence that xenophobia in South Africa has reached a dangerous level? Or should government focus more on addressing the root, driving public anger? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you value fearless facts based on journalism that asks questions others avoid, please like, share, and subscribe. Africa's future depends not only on strong borders, but also on strong principles. I'm Chimezrim Okoro, and do have a blessed weekend.